Big story that we are tracking very, very carefully right here in India today, that there is a charge by certain academics as well as political parties that there is an attempt to rewrite our textbooks when it comes down to the NCERT curriculum. Joining me for more and possibly to take all the questions pertaining to it, which has led to this massive controversy across, is Professor Dinesh Prasad Saklani. He's the director of NCERT. He joins us live. Appreciate you joining us, Professor, and taking all the questions that there be, because, you know, there's a huge controversy right now that there is an attempt. It's a charge by academics, certain historians, of course, certain political parties. But let's keep the politics out of it, Professor. You know, when it comes down to grave charges that are laid by historians and certain academics, which seem to suggest sweeping selective changes that are taking place in our textbooks, especially from class 6th to class 12th. I believe, if I'm not wrong, and you can, correct me at any time, that 21 textbooks from standard 6 to 12, a lot of chapters have been taken out, expunged. Now, this whole exercise, Professor, I believe, was done primarily during COVID to reduce the syllabi, but it still continues.
Yeah, you are right. Now, go by your question. What is your question?
So, my first question is, the fact, can you hear me, sir? So, my first question comes from the same
fact.
Yes,
I can hear you.
That if the cutting of chapters was done, like what the NCERT called it at that time, rationalizing the curriculum to put less strain on the students during COVID. Now, COVID is long gone. There's a charge that you're still cutting selective parts of the curriculum using COVID as an excuse.
No, this is false allegation. I don't go by this. Actually, what happened last year, last year the rationalization process was done in view of COVID, as you rightly pointed out, keeping in view that the students have to be, they have to be facilitated, they have to be assuaged during the COVID time. Whatever loss there was, that has to be compensated. So, in that process, last year the textbooks were rationalized, but what happened that the textbooks were already printed, which could not be in the market because of the schools were closed. When the textbooks last year were floated in the market, then there was a errata booklets for each and every changes in the books. It is not change in curriculum or syllabus. It was change in books only in order to reduce the content load.
But Professor, why are we still following it? Because we are no longer in COVID.
No, just a minute.
Normal classes have resumed. Yes, sir, please go ahead.
Let me complete. We are not cutting now. That has been done last year. So what has been done, why should we undone it for 1 year? Because next year we are unfolding the NEP 2020. New books has come for, they are about to come in the market very shortly as per NEP 2020. So next year our NCF for school education is under preparation. It is in the process of finalization. As and when it is finalized, then our process for developing the curriculum and textbooks for the all classes as per the NEP 2020, that will be unfolded. So why should we go for this process again, complicated process again, for rationalizing again, which chapter has to be kept, which has to be reduced? The exercise was done last year. That is only for this year, and from next year onward, as I have mentioned, that we are working for NEP 2020. So this was done rationally, not selectively.
So you're saying it's not okay. So there's no point going back to what is cut is cut. Yeah. But now I'll come back to what is cut. 21 textbooks from class 6 to 12. Let's break it down, Professor. Maximum changes now, which say the certain academics are calling sweeping and selective, have happened in the field of political science, sociology and history. Now coming down to the field of sociology, history, political science, when it comes down to the contentious chapters on Mughal history, medieval history being taken out, it's interesting if one looks at it. I'll give you an example. Class 7th, the entire chapter on the Delhi Sultanate, Mughal history, 2 extra chapters have been removed, 90%. What is India without medieval history? Which, whether we like it, whether we don't like it, stems from the Mughal history.
Now, let me answer your question. as you have rightly pointed out, the certain academicians, not all the academicians, first of all. Then whatever has been removed, that has been removed in a process professionally by the academicians only, historians only. NCERT just formulated the committees for that, so that the matter can be taken judiciously, and whatever the professional historians, or why talk to history only? Why not mathematics? Why not geography? Why not science?
Because I'll tell
why
you,
not
sir.
other subjects?
No,
why
I'll
only
tell you why
only
this?
Mughal history? Yeah,
So
no,
I'll
no,
tell you why.
just a minute,
Okay. Go ahead, sir, make your point. I'll tell you, because you're saying why
Yeah.
not maths, why not geography, why not English? Because if one looks at the rationalizing
yes.
which you count, sir,
Yes.
actually, and correct me if I'm wrong, 80% of rationalizing has taken place in 3 subjects: political science, sociology, history. And now I'll come back to the, I will go one by one, sir, and I'm glad you're here
No.
because you're trying to dispel myths. Right? I will come back to the chapters we are talking about. Mughal.
No, you.
Go ahead, sir.
No,
Go ahead.
just a minute, Listen carefully. The last year, whatever we have done, we have for 3 months clarified our stand through electronic media, print media. Everything is there in the public domain, and everything is in our NCERT website also. So, if certain angle is being taken to review this, we cannot say anything about that. Why not other subjects be taken into account? And whatever is, as I told you, that the academicians adopted an approach that if certain topic or chapter has been studied at certain class or certain level, then it should not be repeated. So in that process, the expert body found that yes, at certain point students are already aware of this, so why they should not be burdened again to go for that
in for the,
next class and
to be
next
fair.
So in that process, NCERT just followed that standard,
but Professor,
which was recommended by academicians.
To be fair, there is a lot of,
it is
sir,
not,
sir, to be fair, there is a lot of rancor and there is a lot of disquiet about the academics that were picked to decide what will go or not. Now, you're right, that is for them to take to court if they disagree with the content. But I'm going to ask you for someone who myself studied, say, Mughal history in class 7th. Class 7th, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, is the first time you're actually a student is introduced to Mughal history, medieval Mughal history. There is a chapter of Delhi Sultanate on what we see are Mughal architects all across Delhi, which signify the Mughal Sultanate, the expansion of the Mughal Sultanate, and what medieval India was. Now, that entire chapter has been taken away. That entire Mughal, the history of Mughals has been taken away. 2 other supplementary chapters have been taken away. So a student who's graduating from 6th to 7th really would not know much about medieval history.
Then
go ahead, sir.
No, that is not correct. You just see, we have to make a balance in each history. Why we are dominating in only one section? Why not ancient India? Why not modern India? So, this was the expert opinion. This was not NCERT's opinion. So expert opinion was expert opinion. As per that, it was done, and last year ample clarity has been done for that.
Professor,
and for the details, our website is there. You
but
can
Professor, balance, history is never balanced.
Yes.
History there's to be a true account of history. If we try and balance medieval history, and I'm I'm green behind the ears, I would suggest.
I am not talking.
Let me finish my question.
No, I am not talking of balancing the history. No, I am not talking of.
Let me finish
I am
my
not
question.
talking of balancing the history. I am talking of balancing the time. I am talking of balancing the approach and content in the history, not the history balancing the history.
Sir, sir, approach and content.
Emphasis should not be on certain parts and.
So I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. If India's medieval history has been 90% Mughal history, which it has been. Now, we might not like it, we might not accept it, but that's a fact. Now, how can we approach it otherwise and try and balance it out otherwise? For example, the current context is, many would suggest it's a domination by the BJP. When history is written between 2014 to 2024, it would be an abject domination of the BJP. We can't balance that, can we?
No. Your question is not correct. NCERT has nothing to do with the political stand.
Okay.
NCERT go by the opinion of the experts. So whatever experts suggested, that has been done.
Okay.
It
Sir,
is
fair
not.
point.
It is the totally false allegation.
Fair
I don't
point,
go by
sir.
this.
You have
Yes.
taken the advice of experts. However, the experts' body has also been contended with by
Yes.
certain sets. We don't, we are just giving the facts out. I'll come down to the, you've given your stance on the Mughal history.
Yeah.
I will now like to move to contemporary history of independent India. Now, again, between 6 to 12 standards, sir.
But then my question, my question to you is that why are you taking about only one Mughal history? Why not other?
Sir,
other
I'm not
things you are
talking
taking
about
into
Mughal
account?
history anymore.
Why are you repeating this question?
Sir, I'm
No. I have answered your question. This is ample. This is ample that experts, historians. If
Sir, you're
other
right.
historians, they might have differences. I don't
NCERT
agree
took
with
the
that.
advice
If-
of experts.
Yeah.
I want to just move on
Yeah.
from now medieval history. I want to
Yes.
move on, sir. I want to move
Yeah.
on to contemporary history of India, which is post-independence, 1947. What has been found and what has been contended, and correct me if
Yes.
I'm wrong, from class 6 to class 12, sweeping deduction. There is no mention of any social movement or protest. There is no mention of Naxalism, Chipko movement, Narmada movement. All protests have been deleted. There is only one chapter which has been left in the 12th sociology chapter, and that is also one ops for sociology. So from 6 to 12, the student will not study about protests, sir. Do you even, whether it's wrong, whether we agree with it, not agree with it, Naxalism has been part of our contemporary history. Movements like Chipko and Narmada were a part of our contemporary history. Why take that out?
That is that is okay. But then when it come to the point of that reduction in the content load, again I will go by the same thing, that this was also a process as suggested by the experts, that this content has to be reduced, particularly for this particular period when the content load has to be reduced, keeping in view the emergency or the exigency due to COVID pandemic. So in that process it was done, and students studied that earlier also. So if 1 year or 2 years due to this specific situation expert advise certain things, it is our, it is important to help the students, not to impose upon the burden that yes, every time you are loaded with this content. If it has been taken in a special cause, for a special cause, in help to help the students, why it is being blown out of proportion? It
Sir,
should not
as a
be.
professor, I want to ask you.
It is not the normal procedure.
Sir, as a professor, I want to ask you.
It is for the pandemic. It is for the redressal of the pandemic problem. The step has been done, and the
But sir,
experts
we are no
suggested
longer in
yes,
the
this can be
pandemic,
done
no?
away with, no problem for a while.
We are no longer in pandemic.
What are you asking?
Sir, we are no longer in pandemic.
No longer. Then I have told you that. No. Just listen then. We are in the process of implementing the NEP 2020. Last year we took this exercise. Now we are taking for this NEP 2020. So why for this 1 year so much hue and cry that we waste our so much time? Why we are preparing the new syllabus? As I already mentioned you, that foundational stage learning teaching material is out. Okay. We have to go for the new thing, the NEP 2020, that we are going to implement. We are working there for that. NCERT is working for that. So if that step was taken last year, now again we enter into the process of rationalization and bring things for a brief time, 1 year or 6 months. Hardly we have introduced for class first and second. Our new textbook will come soon in the market as per the NEP 2020.
So I'll come
we
back.
are preparing the
Right,
NCF for school education. Just
Sir,
listen. Let me
yes,
complete.
please
NCF for school education is under preparation. It is in the process of finalization, and it will be finalized very soon. Then we will work for the textbooks and syllabus for the NEP 2020. So that's how we are engaged, and we are doing that. Implementation of NEP is important, which has been accepted by the whole nation and society without any controversy. So
no, it hasn't been accepted. It's been contended. There are court cases right now which are going on in the same regard.
Yes.
So it's not that it's been accepted yet, because it has been contended. But I'll come back. I'll come back to two final questions, Professor. And thank you.
NEP has been, NEP has got wider acceptance.
So it's
wider
still been,
acceptance.
yeah, it has got acceptance, but
it is
it has also been
NEP
rejected by a
2020 is
few. And that's the
undisputed.
beauty of a democracy. But I'll come back to two final questions, sir.
No, by a few, if you talk, if you say that 99 people are okay, but one person is not okay, then what to do?
So we don't know that if it's only one person,
What to do?
no?
You will reject the 99 people.
So we
and
don't know that.
You will
We are
reject
just
the
saying it's been-
99.
So the
You will
sheer
reject
fact-
the 99 and
So how
accept
do
the
we
one?
know it's only one? The sheer fact that
yes.
you're sitting here, you're taking this question is because there's a controversy. If there is a controversy, that means there are certain people
No, you
objecting
say
to it.
you yourself are raising this issue that only a few people
Sir,
are
I wish I was
dissatisfied.
raising
If
it.
they
These are questions
dissatisfied,
which are
they
there.
were given the opportunity.
Sir, I want to ask you two
put-
final questions.
Yeah.
As a professor, because you're a professor yourself.
Yeah,
and
then it
you're
is a
the one who
democracy.
teaches
It is a
children.
democracy. It is
Sir,
a democracy.
Sir-
It is a democracy. Everybody can speak. It is
So
a
then-
democracy. Everybody
True.
can speak.
So let me ask you a
Everybody has
question.
right to speak their
Let me
opinion.
ask you a question.
Yeah.
As a professor,
Yeah.
someone who teaches children,
Yes.
and these are minds which are going to grow. Do you not think?
This must be your last question. Okay, this must be your last
Sir,
question.
actually
Hello,
there are two.
This must be your last question.
Actually, there are
I am
two.
not here for such a
Sir-
long time.
Sir, okay,
This must be your last question. Okay.
Okay, sir,
This
at
must be
least
your last
answer it.
question.
Sir,
I
as a
don't have
pro-
time. I have
Sir-
other engagements also.
Sir, I want to say that from 7th to 12th, all protests in the country, be it Naxalism, Narmada movement, Chipko movement, every protest has been removed, which is post-independence contemporary history. Do you think it's right, sir, personally?
They are only you know, only textbook is not the source of knowing everything. There are other literatures also. They can know if they are interested.
So you're
to know
saying our
who is-
students should
who
look
is
at
stopping them.
anything
But
outside textbooks?
what should be the in a particular textbook, how much content has to be taken, that the expert committee will decide, not the public will decide. Expert committees are made for that. They decide the syllabi, they decide the curriculum, and they do that on the basis of wider research. What should be the pedagogy? What should be the curriculum? That is the domain of the experts, not the public hearsay. Okay.
Sir, in terms
So
of the
that is
riots
there.
that have
They
taken
decide
place
about
in
that.
contemporary India,
It is
all
not- it is
mentions
not-
of the
it is
Gujarat
not that the
riots
voting-
have been removed, but every other riot stays, is what the charge is. Is it true, sir, or incorrect?
I don't go by these questions. Okay. Whatever has been done, that is there on website. For detail, you can contact that. And people, if they say something, hearsay cannot be part of academic discourse. Only academicians decide what should be in the part of the textbook, what should be the part of curriculum. That is the domain of the experts, academicians, and not the public hearsay and not the TV debates.
Sir,
Okay?
you're very right. It's the
All right.
prerogative of academics, and I would reckon of the citizens as well. These were questions that were posed
Yes.
to you from
Yes.
both accounts, because
Yes.
even when the
Yes.
NEP is
Yes.
concerned, there
Yes.
are enough, there's enough
Yes.
legal recourse that has been taken on that account as well. There are enough petitions, but that aside, I appreciate you coming on board, joining us. You
Okay,
made it very
that
clear
goes on.
that
It
it
is
is
the
on the
process- in the
experts
process-
who
in the-
recommended, and you have
in the
decided to
process-
go by what the experts recommended.
in the process of evolution, every sort of discourse take place, acceptance and everything that is the part of democracy, and things move on, and we disagree to agree, and we agree to disagree.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.